We're going to follow up with, okay, got it. Welcome, Comadres.
Welcome, thank you.
No, it's Eileen, okay. Hi, my name's Eileen Schlepp, and with Nora and Nora Comstack and Maria Ferrer, I'm one of the coordinators of the Las Comadres Speaker Series. This year, we're gathering Latinas who are breaking the mold in every arena. The interviews are being recorded and will be added immediately to the Las Comadres YouTube channel for everyone. We're proud to have with us tonight Comadre Julie Baez Prebula. When I first spoke with Julie, I was taken by her passion, not only for life, but for her career. Julie is the first Latina to own a golf course in the country and has a mission to get more Latinas and people of color on the golf course. Wherever we are in our own life journey, and if you're a person who's never golfed like me, there are great lessons to be learned from her experience. Tonight's program is a Q&A. Please feel free to post your questions and messages in the chat space. We will try to get your questions at the end of the interview. If you include your email address, Julie will respond directly. I'm asking that anybody who can go on social media, we have tags. Tag golf, her, capital H-E-R, and tag Comadres chat. We're really going to start sharing our information on social media. Please mute, and you can arrange your pictures in any way. And now I'd like to start the interview. Welcome, Julie.
Thank you.
Let's start with your roots. You're a Tejana born in Corpus Christi, who graduated from the University of Texas at Austin. You have spoken to me about coming from a strong family of women. We want to know about them and also about the men in your life. Did they support you, encourage you? How were you prepared to explore, take chances, and look at your options and fearlessly embark on a very exciting career?
Wow, thank you so much, Eileen. Nora, besos. So happy and excited to be here. As you said, Eileen, yes, I come from a large blended family. I know, like most of us probably today on this call. And I love talking about the powerful women who shaped me into the woman I am today. My moms, my tias, teachers, boss ladies, community leaders, artists. Eileen, and thank you for asking about the men on a Comadres call. Since they say dads are often the back, get the back seat when it comes to praise. But like a typical firstborn Latina, I was and am a daddy's girl. And I'm an avid reader, Eileen, so I like to reference Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad, Poor Dad, because I too have a two dad story. I was raised by my white dad, brown dad. And that's really what it is. Much like Kiyosaki's example, they both taught me life lessons, core values that we emulate today in our personal and business lives. For example, relationships matter, people come first, and doing the right thing when no one is looking. Those are two huge core values that we promote in our businesses. And my brown dad was actually the first entrepreneur role model in my life, Eileen. By day, he's a commercial painter and boss man of his crew. After work, my dad plays even harder. That's where I get it from. He still enjoys his hobbies as a race car driver and a mariachi singer. My brown dad always had a bankroll in his pocket, right? Credit poor, but culturally wealthy. Growing up, I was on the weekends, holidays, and summer schedule with my dad, with my brown dad and his new young family in South Texas. Those were my experiences. Meanwhile, back with my white dad, cash was non-existent, Eileen. credit cards were abundant, but with the strict underlining understanding, and listen up, Latinas, that you must pay your balance in full every month. And by only paying the minimums, this is what he told me, by only paying the minimums, you pay way more than you actually ever intended. And who wants to do that? Right. So my white dad was a college graduate, loves sailing, and retired as a social worker for the state of Texas, where he met my mom. And then he retired again as a vice principal of my sister's high school. When he entered our lives, as an elementary student, the menu completely changed on the dinner table, Eileen. And that was, I think, the first, as a young person, wave of change that I started noticing with my white dad, right? He started replacing cups of soda with dinner with glasses of water. I learned what an artichoke was. I learned so many new vegetables. Not only that, he introduced us to timeout and how to talk things through versus reaching for the belt or the faja, right? Which was heaven sent, I think, for me as a young person. But because of him, I also had the first computer on my block and probably in my neighborhood. So I became the queen of Pong at that time on the street. And I'm very happy to say, Eileen, that I have a great relationship with both my dads today. And they were both able to walk me down the aisle when I got married 7 years ago. So, hey, I made it happen.
How did they respond to your career goals? And you suddenly decided to move to Los Angeles. So what were their reactions? And what made you choose a new career path in music and public relations? And how did you plan? Did they work with you, or were they like, no, stay in Texas?
That's really interesting that they were excited to let me go. My dads helped me pack. They prepared my car. We changed the oil together. I remember they packed my car. It's just a great memories. They
That's
helped me pack
wonderful.
up my little Ford Festiva, and I drove all the way to LA. And that's what really got me there. But what led me there, Eileen, was that I got laid off of my dream job. Yes, bad things led me to great discoveries. I got laid off of my dream job, and at the same time, my Thea in LA and her husband, they had started an independent Latin jazz music label in Los Angeles called Mundos Records. And they took a chance on this young college graduate and helped them start their business. That's what I did when I moved there. And after a few years of being in the biz, Eileen, the label was purchased by a larger jazz label. And that allowed me the opportunity to shift, instead from employee to independent publicist. I grew my client list by my network and really focused on the Spanish language music genre while I was there. And it was a blast.
Well, as when I moved to LA, I used to laugh and say a lot of people get there with big dreams and they end up feeling like they're buried in the La Brea tar pit. So you also helped your tia with her business in the LA financial district, which was Salon Belleza, Day Spa Salon, I'm sorry. And the building has since been demolished, but that's a historic experience as well. So what gave you the positive approach to taking all these risks and making them work for you?
Well, I'll tell you what, owning a day spa and salon in your 20s is a fabulous lifestyle. I'll start with that. When you get fresh haircuts, like I just came from LA and visited my Thea. I got a fresh haircut. Your nails and skin is constantly maintained, not to mention the massages. It was around that same time when I met Nora, when we had the salon and day spa, because I think Nora even got a haircut, maybe in the kitchen, but she still got a haircut by us.
And I slept on your couch.
You sure did, Nora. And we were talking about that before the call. And we cut all that hair off, huh, Nora? Almost, just a couple inches. But we did have a fast-paced lifestyle, right, Nora? I mean, you visited and it was like 9 o'clock, and we said, well, you want to join us? We're going to do part 2. And you're like, it's 9 o'clock. I'm going to go to bed. And and we just left you at our house and said, okay, well, we're going to be gone for a few hours. But it was so much fun. When I think back about those times, we literally built that salon. I mean, with our bare hands. I just remember those things. And we ran the salon together. At the same time, I worked a full-time job just down the street, fortunately for me, at LA's largest Spanish language newspaper at the time, La Opinión. Where am I, La Opinión alum? Because I know we got some on the call. And it was just amazing that I would just literally walk back and forth. I mean, I felt like I lived there, but I didn't. And I handled the challenges, honestly, by following my tia's lead. And I was young, she was the mentor I had to look up to. And her biz savviness, Eileen, it taught me that anything is truly possible if you put your mind to it. Even opening a day spa and salon in downtown Los Angeles.
No, that's fascinating. You actually have a very supportive family. Because many of us, it was like, no, don't go. You stay with the family. So the next question that Comadres want to hear about is, golf changed your life professionally and personally. We want to hear about this new chapter in your life. In the middle of succeeding in Los Angeles, you discovered golf, or you went out to take part in golf, and it gave you a whole new chapter. So how did that happen? And what are the lessons you want to share with us?
Great question, because I cannot express how important this sport has been in my life, and how much I do want to share this with everybody, especially when I talk to young ladies, young girls. We need more women on the golf course. And yes, we need more women of color, especially taking advantage of such a long-lived game. But honestly, Eileen, golf, my intro to golf, and it was just to get off the porch, right? Mix with the big boys, because I was in Los Angeles at the time. I was freelancing. I was, running my own publicity agency, and I was out there mixing and mingling. And I realized that business is getting done beyond me. I'm still present. I'm at the table, but guess what? The guys aren't at the table. They're on the golf course. And that's what I had to talk about it. I asked people, and somebody said, hey, I got a club set, a female club set for sale for $100. Would you like it? And I said, yes. And I literally bought my clubs, and then I Googled, how do you get into golf? And I found a class that was being offered at the local community college, believe it or not. And I signed up for it, and I learned the basics. I learned about etiquette. I learned about, terminology. And most importantly, I got the courage to jump on a real golf course. And the classes were actually held at the Rose Bowl, which was beautiful, where I was living at the time. And I ran that Rose Bowl every day as my exercise. And in the middle of the Rose Bowl is a golf course. And I would run, Eileen, and I would say, what do these guys do? They're here all day, every day. And, me too, I'm running, but I'm like, I'm a freelancer. They got more money than me. Something tells me that they got more money than me. And I wanted to know, how do you do that? How do you get on that golf course? And just by taking a class, and really being introduced at the same time to my mentor in golf, a fellow comadre, Azucena Maldonado. She's the founder of Latina Golfers Association. And there's not only are you able to enjoy a walk in the park, but to have fellow Latinas support you in the game, it was just such a welcoming embrace. I would say it was a welcoming embrace to get on the golf course with fellow Latinas. And just remember, when you're on the golf course, Eileen, you have a captive audience of at least 1 to 3 people, depending on how big your group is. And it's a great day date with not only your loved ones, your family, your friends, and it's my favorite way to have a business meeting. So,
And you mentioned also that you joined the Latina Golfers Association,
yes, ma'am.
and you might talk about the support of Latinas in getting you over the hump of starting a new pathway.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And like I said, it's an embrace. It's a warm embrace when you're with fellow Latinas on the golf course.
And you mentioned that playing golf changed your personal life quite a bit.
Best day dates. My first date with my husband was on the golf course. You get to know somebody very quickly in 3 hours without the cell phone bothering you and computers and phones. It's a really great way to unplug.
Yeah, and you probably wouldn't have met if you hadn't shared an interest in golf. Am I right?
He did tell me recently that because we met online, like all the kids are doing, that when he read on my profile that not only do I indulge in a cigar every now and then, but I also play golf, that was the closer. So there you go.
That's wonderful. And you've been married 7 years.
Yes, ma'am. 7 years.
Okay, so now you and your husband, so here we are, you're in LA and things are hopping. And you and your husband and in-laws purchased Slippery Rock, what is now called Slippery Rock Golf Club and Event Center. I think you changed the name, am I correct?
We did.
Yeah, and it's located in a small university town in Western Pennsylvania. You mentioned that you recently decided to complete your move from Austin, Texas, full-time to Slippery Rock. And I'm wondering we're all wondering, what's that like? It's not a Latino culturally supportive center, I'm guessing.
No, I'm still looking for the Latinos here. I can't seem to find them, but I know they're here. We just got to keep getting the word out. Even though it's a small town, we're located about 1 hour north of Pittsburgh. And really what brought us here to Slippery Rock, from Austin, Texas, because we did move from LA to Austin, where we get to reconnect with Nora and the Comadres again. Was we wanted to escape the summer heat. And I know Nora knows what I'm talking about. We wanted to get out and cool off a little bit. So we actually purchased my husband's grandparents' cottage here in little old Slippery Rock Park. And he, back in the 70s, Eileen, was the senator of Pennsylvania. So there's a lot of history here, and not only in the home and the community, but within the family. And it was, again, just an escape from Texas. But then later, the golf club came into the picture, networking like we'd always do with the neighbors. That's where it kind of popped up in the air. And, let's just say it was the right purchase at the right time for a family that spent their careers in events, golf course management, and food and beverage industry. So that was back in December 2019. So here we are today.
So now we know how you discovered the location, and we're wondering, that's a lot of family to get along and parse out the different responsibilities and make sure it all works together. And it does, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. No, I know. It's a community here, and you know what? We build, I think Latinas know more, and especially the Comadres know better than anybody, that we can build a community. And I learned this from Nora, wherever we go. Right, Nora? What I do is I pick up the phone and I say, where are all the Comadres, Nora? I'm now in this town. I now live here. And Nora usually introduces me to the Comadres that are right here. I haven't done that yet, but no, I think I did. We said they're in Pittsburgh. They're a little bit far out, but yes, Maria, we're going to find them. We're going to get them on the golf course. But yes, we we've built community here. We turned on basically a historic establishment that was originally founded by my husband's family, his great uncle, who built the first 9 holes. We discovered this in our research and digging through family records. It was never really publicized by the original owners or the new owners of the golf club, that yes, in fact, his uncle established the course. So now we're bringing it full circle back into the family. And our immediate course of action, Eileen, was to change the name from, whatever it was, generic golf course, to the town's name, because first of all, it's a cool name, right? Slippery Rock. You just can't get that out of your head sometimes. But we wanted to bring it back into the community. It was once a private country club. So now we're making sure that everybody knows we are open to the public. Sure, you can get a membership. That just means you can golf your brains out. But we absolutely are creating a unified place where you can come and feel comfortable and learn a new sport, drink a beverage, we turned on the restaurant after being closed for 8 years. So a lot of things were turned on when we came back. And Eileen, first of all, I am from a small town, even smaller. I moved to Orange Grove, Texas, after being in Corpus Christi for, most of my young years. But Orange Grove, Texas, I don't know if there's any Comadres on from there, but I mean, the population at the time was 1,212 when we got there. All I wanted was a place to just have fun, get out of the house, build a community. And guess what? There wasn't that location. So being back in a small town, I told my husband, I said, we're going to create the entertainment center of the community. Like, I woke up one day and I said that. I said, we're creating the entertainment, the recreational center of the community, because there's nothing like that out here. And guess what? There's a university right down the road that most of the people I speak to say, oh, wow, I never knew that this was here. After being in the community for 90 plus years, people still say, oh, I never knew this was here. So those are the changes we're trying to make. Those are the updates we're trying to do in the community, and that's the community and culture we're building today.
Well, your energy is phenomenal. So would you share with us what a typical day is for you? Because Comadres, you should know that Julie also, with her family, runs a business that it's a large national insurance agency. So this is only one of 2 businesses they run. So what's a typical day like?
Actually, I'm coming in from a virtual summit, just ended 30 minutes ago before this call. And that's the amazement that I still have over technology. I can jump from my insurance business to the Comadres interview here all in one breath. But yes, let me tell you this, Eileen, I always met insurance agents, and, I never really thought that I would be that person, that I didn't see myself in them. And to be honest, it was just a lot of older white men that were in the business that I met. And when I was networking, they would hound me and I would run the other way. And I never wanted to be that person. So today I'm not that I'm not that agent. We have a network of about 100 agents in our agency throughout the country. And it started with just me and my husband. And that is the power of community, right? Because we used to do these Zooms before Zoom was popular. This is how we trained our agents throughout the country. And it's just amazing that we can do these things. Our business has totally changed. I can now work with you over Zoom when I had to at one time be in person. So it's a new day. I often want to remind everybody, when you support local businesses or women-owned businesses, especially today, give everybody some grace. Right now, we're going through so many challenges, and we're trying to get back where we were. So just consider that when you visit, and you're deciding where to go eat, where to go spend your money.
Great. So we've now said business challenges continue and they're ongoing. So when you have a business, you just expect every day to be rocking and rolling and you just go with the punches. But golf courses are not open during the night or in the winter. So you're already prepared for that. But along comes COVID. So what did you do to pivot?
Oh man. I have a love-hate relationship with this virus right now because yes, I did lose a lot of family, but it also gave us some time to regroup in the business. It allowed us to rebuild a lot of our business before we could open. At the same time though, Eileen, golf was one of the sports, if you can remember, that was safe to play because look at all that we have to play in. You definitely have your distance, you're outside, you don't have to ride with somebody, you can walk, so golf was probably one of the only sports that children were involved in. Whole families were coming out to play, or what I saw was uh wives or partners just sitting in the golf cart just to be outside because we were trapped right in our homes for so long. But a typical, and I know you asked me about a typical day. If I don't start, Eileen, with my meditation and my stretching, right, Nora, then we're just like, we can't do all of this. We can't go out and play comfortably. We can't run multiple businesses without getting this right first thing in the morning. So I did want to answer that question.
And then as the day progresses, how do you decide? Do you respond to the golf course or the insurance agency? I mean, how do you work that out? Or lunch with your husband?
Yeah, it's all about schedule, Eileen. If we don't have a schedule, and we talk about this extensively, it's part of our keys to our success is build your schedule, build a stellar schedule for yourself, put in rec time, put in date time, put in time with the kids, sometimes I have to put in to eat because I forget, we're just going nonstop. But you have to schedule everything, and I need to start on time and I need to end on time. And if I can't do those two things, then a lot of things get missed and get skipped. So I wake up, let me just tell you, because I did get to work for Disney for some time in Los Angeles, and I would read about the president at the time, and he woke up every day at 4:30, and I thought to myself, God, how does anybody even do that? Like, I could never, right? Guess who wakes up at 4:30, 5 o'clock every day? Now, you have to, if you want to schedule your time with 3 businesses, if I'm not up by 4 or 5 o'clock doing my meditation, it's not going to get done. It's absolutely not getting done. So I need to be up before everybody. I need to schedule me time, and I need to schedule date nights, and you need to do all these things, because then it's just work, 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 work. But what are we working for? Right? That's what we have to remember. Schedule's everything.
So you started some new projects during COVID. And one of them is we talked about before, and it sounds like it's perfect for a lot of the comadres who might want to come to your location. It's the stimulation golf.
Simulator. Oh, I like simulation though.
Sorry.
We're going to change that for the comadres. But it is simulation or simulators, golf simulators that we brought in because, fortunately for me, my husband is a visionary as well. And I know Nora got to meet my whole family. And Eric said really fast when we were pivoting because of COVID, we got to do something. No one's booking events in our ginormous banquet room that we just put in a new furnace for. So WTF, right? What are we going to do? And we moved fast and we said simulators, golf simulators are where it's at. We got to bring people in. We have the space to do it. They're very large, 16 by 16 by 12, and we have 3 of them. So we fit them in. We fit 2 of them into the banquet facility. And ladies, comadres, if you are interested or want to be golf, try a simulator. It's the best intro to learn the sport. It's, you don't have to sweat too bad, too much outside. You don't have to run around finding your balls. You're just there hitting the screen, and our place, you get food and beverage at the same time. So that to me has been not only a godsend for our business, it's also turned on so many women, juniors, new people to the game. That's what we're seeing. Simulators, yes, Teresa.
Is it, how do I say it? It's a large screen and then it's run by
computer. It's like a
computer.
giant video game. Hey, and the best
Okay.
part is that when it's not a simulator, we did spooky night on Halloween. I had a tarot reader, and it turns into a giant screen. So it's just all connected through the internet. We have about 100 golf courses that you can play. And, at first it's awkward, but I thought, who does that, right? I'm from the South. What, you're playing inside? First of all, we don't like to play inside. We play outside. And no, this is what they do in the North, or when it gets cold, you play inside. That's where bowling came from. Cornhole, all this fun stuff. So now we're discovering, because we need to be creative in this time, how to continue our business differently, right? We're shifting, and simulators, cornhole, yoga, I'm this close, Nora, to getting into country dancing or some kind of dance party in the banquet room. But yes, it's just, we have the venue space. It's now to get creative, and how do you pivot when something
That's really helpful. That's excellent. So you spoke in the video that I watched about your community efforts in Slippery Rock. And I thought if you would share that with Comadres, your commitment to building community, you're caring about the bigger community and the kids and the school, and getting Latinas on the greens.
I think Marilyn might have posted something about, being in higher education and wanting to connect with the university. That was absolutely priority number 1 for us. We are in a tiny town where there's 13,000 people when the students are in, and there's about 4,000 when they're not. So we knew, Marilyn, that we had to make that connection with the university. It was all about synergies for me. I wanted to meet everybody in the town because it was small enough. I could do it. I'm a pretty good networker, and I did. I made sure, because we're in a small community that was once a dry county many years ago, there's only literally 4 establishments that have an alcohol license. And guess what? We're one of them, and it was not being used at all, or to its advantage. I made sure that I connected with those 3 other venues that have a liquor license. So we're friends first and not competitors coming into the market. That was so important for me, to build that community, to say, hey, compadre or comadre, or, in our different words, but just to say, hey, we're here. And there's no threat. If there's any synergies that we can create, that's what I'm here for. And that's what we did with the university, and we're still doing that with the university. With our bed and breakfast, we have about 12 bedrooms, and one of them needs painting. I said, why don't we make this the university called Slippery Rock, so why don't we make this the rock room? And those are the creative ideas that come from the community, that just come from networking and being, just being in communication with each other. So yes, we're definitely about that.
Does the university have a golf program yet, or are you working with them on it?
Great. Yes, I'm so glad you asked that, because they don't, and it's a Title IX issue, right? But guess what? Money talks, and there's a donor that came in last year and said, I want to start a girls golf program here's the money, right, to get started. So now they're scrambling. They're calling us, hey, if we start this program, will you be part of it? Will you be our home course? Absolutely, yes is the answer. But there's not one now. There's multiple high schools that
Mhm.
I've already reached out to or they've reached out to me, and we've connected. And we're their home course for the high schools, the local high schools here. That's important to me. I love seeing juniors. The younger, the better, to see these youngsters on the golf course. And then guess what? Their parents, right alongside with them. And they're all our customers. So we love it. We love creating the synergies that we can.
And I think, are you also working on a scholarship at the university?
We absolutely are. We do have it was important, first of all, to me when I was on the board of the University of Texas at Austin's Hispanic Alumni Association to get involved with that. We did the same thing here when we moved here. Education, legacy, somebody helped me. That is all important to us. So yes, in my husband's grandfather's name, we do have a scholarship. We just started 2 years ago.
And have you done any work with Mexican food being involved in any of what you're doing yet?
Did you read my menu?
No.
We absolutely brought tacos to Slippery Rock. We have breakfast tacos, breakfast burritos on the menu. That was extremely important to me because I need to have that for breakfast. Taco Tuesday. Yes, ma'am. We sure do have Taco Tuesday on the menu. And yes, it was important for us to bring that culture. It was important for me to meet every single member during our open house. And this was all pre-COVID, mind you.
Mhm.
It was actually February 2020 when we opened the doors and introduced ourselves to everybody. And I stood by the door, Eileen, and luckily it was pre-COVID. I got to shake everybody's hand, hug everybody, welcome everybody into my golf course, my golf club, but really theirs, because we're giving it back to the community. And that was extremely important to me. And I'm so glad that I got to do that before COVID hit.
Wonderful. I guess as a follow-up question, your lessons can impact us where we in the Comadres group are of every different age. We're diverse in every single way. We're all at different parts of our lives. We've had setbacks. We've had, great successes. So what would you say, what can you tell each of us if you were giving us advice of how you dealt with your setbacks in your life on some things to remember as we move forward?
Oh, thank you for asking that. I'm an avid reader. I'm going to tell everybody, support your local library, read books, dive into self-development. If you don't, it could be detrimental. You could stay stuck where you are. Be better today than you were yesterday. That's what I would like to say. We have a core value that we follow, and it's called it's called endless pursuit of personal growth. Continue your personal growth. Read, support your libraries, get the audios, whatever you need to. I know we're very busy, but guess what? I managed to read a couple books every month at least. And I love that. I love that I can put something in my ear and get to work and learn something new. There's no excuse. There's none. And if you're not teaching your children that, you're the example. Get a library card, download Hoopla, Libby, all those good apps, and show your children that they could easily start learning. Because man, I just discovered the library has more than just books, right? On the app, it has lessons, classes, lectures. If you don't, especially now over COVID, I must say that because I love reading so much, I love that, we had all this personal time to ourselves that I could read so many books, and there was unlimited amount of books you could check out during COVID. So that would be my last words or words to remember.
Well, did you ever feel stuck and then have to struggle to figure out where you were going, and how did you do it?
Oh man, we always get stuck, right? And we just got to shake it off. I look at my dog and she shakes it off, and I got to always remember that. You just got to shake it off. If you're not bettering this every single day, Eileen,
Mhm.
you can stay stuck forever. And that is the scariest thought ever. So if you better this, I will say it will unstick you. So
And it
keep
also helps you
bettering you.
understand your own value.
Absolutely. Sure.
Yeah.
Find those values, live by them, post them up. We have them posted. We start our every business call with our core values. I've now printed out the core values in our businesses, and I have them
Mhm.
visibly available for every one of my employees to read every single day. And that to me is important. It's beyond important that they know this business is established on core values, on a mission statement. That's something that I never had in my other businesses, is those core values. So live by them, teach them, and share them.
Great. Well, we have about, I'd say 5 minutes where you could look in the list and answer a couple of questions. Do you want to look in the chat list and answer a couple of questions?
Sure. Yeah. Let's see. Unless you see any right away, I love the comments. Is there a particular meditation you practice? I started with Headspace, which is an app and a book. And now I simply time myself. I try every few years to get 5 minutes higher. I'm up to 25 minutes of meditation. I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but I started with 5 minutes a few years ago when I got married. And um, I want to get to an hour. That's my goal. Get to an hour of meditation. If it's about practicing silence, and honestly, this behind me helps me with that. So there is such thing as walking meditation, Teresa, that is great on the golf course.
Nora, did you have a question?
Well, I wanted to ask about finances, if you're willing to talk about how you made all this happen, because I'm sure this was not in the original plan.
No. No, I always said, well, yeah, the golf course is $1 million if we only had $1 million, right?
Mhm.
But I'd like to reiterate the power of metaphysics, calling it out, dreaming, writing it down, putting it in front of you. And that's what we did with the golf course. We kept talking about it, calling it out, doing research, digging, and it just so I'll say we're planning on writing a book, my husband and I, and it's going to be called The Real Art of the Deal, the true art of the deal, because it was an artful deal. What we did, we had no money down, zero, and we bought a golf course. That's what I'll say, Nora. I'll save the rest for the book that maybe you can help me write.
We're in.
Okay.
And would you tell us about, if you wouldn't mind, Eileen, the bed and breakfast and how we book the rooms and come visit you?
Yes. Thank you for that, because we just purchased an historic institution of Slippery Rock. And that is called the Apple Butter Inn. It's an 1844 building that was renovated in the late 80s. And we're cleaning it up, we're dusting it off, and we're putting new beds and comfortable atmosphere, creating another place for community, not just for visitors. That was important to me, that we have a venue space. So let's put it to use, right, Nora? Let's bring some comodrazos in there. Let's have some book clubs, bridge, whatever. We have the space. And that is part 2 of our endeavors that we're going to be working on this year, is the Apple Butter Inn. We're located, just 1 hour from Pittsburgh. We have 12 rooms. And my goal is to rent out the full inn, for the Comadres retreat or whatever we want to do. We can make it happen. And like I said, because of the pandemic, I feel like people want to be outside. People don't want to be cooped up. So we have a lot of land outside of the inn that I'm hoping to create a park, a walking space, some outdoor, what we have in Texas, some outdoor barbecues, so you can grill out there, something where it's just another environment and another serenity location where you can, enjoy being outside. Definitely is available for bridal parties and wedding sites. We do a lot of that on the golf course as well.
Mhm.
It's just been a tough couple of years. I'm not going to lie. We've only had a handful of weddings when we should have a wedding every weekend.
So I have one other question. We tend to join groups that are Latino groups or Latina groups. What's it like being in the golf associations? And how was it when you walked in the door? And how do you navigate?
Yes. Well, I don't see a lot of me's on there. That's why I'm calling it out. We need more Latinas and women of color on the golf course. But I knew that's where the big boys were, and I had to be part of that. It's just something that's in me, that I just never saw my gender holding me back. So immediately I said, what is this? What is this that these guys are doing? I need to figure it out too. That was my objective. And it's a great day date. So meeting my husband, my favorite, best golf partner of all time, being out there, it's just a wonderful thing to let everything go for 3 to 4 hours. Who does that? And I always say Latinas cannot do that, right? We're just constantly thinking of, oh my gosh, I need to be doing X, Y, and Z, laundry, kids, husband, food, grocery lists. It's hard for us to just shut that down. And I feel like my meditation has allowed me to shut it down, because we need to give ourselves some me time and some what I call nature healing. And that's walking in the park. That's taking a walk through 18 holes. That's what I call my meditation and my serenity. So, yeah, I'm sorry, I got lost in the question, but
Well, how did you navigate? I mean, being a Latina, being a woman, walking in, because I know when I reviewed the Latina Golfers Association video, I forgot his name, but he's headed the Golf Owners Association, Golf Club Owners Association. And he was looking to you for advice and guidance.
yes.
So I thought, okay.
I think that's, to me, is it's awesome, right? Because who holds the purse strings, right? I've been involved in marketing to multicultural audiences probably my whole career. We do. We hold the purse strings, right? So why aren't more Latinas taking advantage of this? It's really about awareness and the fact that we as women in general feel like we have to be 110% before we even try anything, right? Guess what,
So
ladies?
true.
The guys all suck. They're not good either. Go out there. Don't be afraid. Go out there and learn together. Or what I literally had a putting green in my apartment. Like that was on my rug. I had a putting green and I just hit the balls every day because my mentor, Azucena, told me to do that. It was just a good idea to go out and participate and learn and figure out however you can. I happen to win a really nice putter. I still use it today. You know what I mean? These are the things that if you're not participating, you're not going to get ahead, or you're not going to even win something, right? To get you started. So it's about not being afraid. Don't think you have to be 110% to be great at it. Dive in and do it and just learn. You'll learn that you might love this new, beautiful game.
How did you meet Azucena?
Wow, I would probably have said it was through the Comadres, but I think it was just a local comadre through Los Angeles network. And she introduced herself, and I wanted to participate just like I did with the Comadres as much as I can. Being the first of 7, Eileen, I think I naturally gravitate to large groups of women, maybe, I don't know. But I gravitated to her and I said, I want to do whatever it takes as I want to learn. Use me. And she did. you know, she said, okay, well, we're doing a fashion show and I need somebody. And I said, I'll do it. You know, and she goes, okay, you're going to be the don'ts. And so there's actually now footage of me with the Bengali earrings and the heels and the jeans on the golf course. And that was a big no-no. You don't do that. But it was important that I helped in some way. I participated.
So she
even
was a
if-
golfer,
She is a golfer. Yes, she
right?
is.
And isn't she the one who heads the Latina Golfers Association? Yeah,
She is the founder, correct? Uh-huh.
and she's a comadre.
And she's a comadre.
Mhm. Well, that says a lot about our network. Do you have any last words to share with us, or Maria Ferrer, do you have any questions?
No, you're doing great.
Thank you, Mamita. Okay, so Julie, we're going to be coming to a close in a couple of minutes. So do you have any last things to share with us? Tell us how we put it in the box on how people can find you and in the emails. Come up with some ideas on how we could have a comadrazo.
Yes, the ideas are there. You need a virtual tour. We have that virtual tour online. Visit our website, visit our social pages, Slippery Rock Golf Club and Event Center. We'd love, Nora, more than anything to host a comadrazo, a retreat. To bring all the brown to town would be so exciting for me. To show you really what we've done. It's a pretty great thing. And I even have, you know, on the schedule, because we do every day, we're doing some kind of event. I know someone asked what kind of events we do. Every day we're doing some kind of event, and being from the music industry, coming from Los Angeles music industry, it was important for me to start, you know, Friday Night Live music, right? And we have that. We have Friday Night Taco Tuesday, all those great things. It was so important. Now my dad is going to be featured for our Cinco de Mayo event, El Mariachi de Corpus Christi. We gave everybody a sample last time he was here. I said, Dad, I don't think they're gonna get it. You know, I don't know. Everyone was blown away. It was like opera to them. So, so, you know, just bringing in new things, new culture, new flavors to the community. That is the goal for 2022.
Thank you. We hope to be part of that goal for sure. How to thank you enough. This has been a wonderful week of getting to know you. And we'd like to thank all of the comadres, let everybody know about our speaker series. Next month on March 30th, it's always the last Wednesday of the month, we will be speaking with Abigail Golden Vasquez. Abigail is the founding director of the Aspen Institute Latinos in Society program. She's originally from New York, and I can't tell you what she did, because she was working there at Aspen, and we were all like furious at the fact that they had topics about Latinos, but they didn't have any Latinos or Latinas on the research or on the panels, and she just turned it around. It's a very exciting story, and she's on to new adventures. So we'll be meeting with her in a month. And then we're going to have Cindy Benavides, who's the head of LULAC, the month after. So we look forward to meeting with everybody then. And thank you so much for joining us. And comadres, let everybody else know, and hit the social media. And Julie, un placer.
Gracias. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Nora. Thank you, Eileen, Maria.
Bye.
Great to see everyone's beautiful faces.